Hey everybody, welcome to another vlog by Manny. Today we're going to talk about VW's investment of $30 billion into the software game and can they really disrupt the huge moat that Tesla has. So my viewpoint is a little different because I come from a pure software background. I've been developing software for a long time, professionally and just as a hobbyist, right? And I kind of will bring in two of my friends that also have unique perspectives. One being a car enthusiast and a CEO and founder of a restaurant platform, and one being a consultant and being in software for a long time, and also bringing an international viewpoint about talent and how that's really important into the whole software spectrum. So my viewpoint really starts from a simple point of view, which is if you're going to play the catch-up game, it's usually too late. And that's because my background, I've noticed that, for example, BlackBerry, right? They've gone from being the leader, which you can kind of put them in the Volkswagen standpoint, right? Volkswagen was the leader. And then they try to play the catch-up game with Apple. And that didn't never work so properly because when you play the catch-up game, you're just trying to mimic what the special thing that was in that software to capture that user experience, right? And usually that's a big mistake, right? What it should be is when you should really dedicate in the niche that you particularly are going to be servicing and then grow that holistically instead of playing that catch-up game, right? We already know that Tesla is a runaway train, and I'm biased for sure because I believe in Tesla in the long term, from a software play, from an energy play, from a user experience play, and then holistically from actually having a figure that you kind of look up to, right? Which is Elon. And when you paint that into software, talent generally gravitates to someone that has that vision that paints that whole holistic view, right? And I think that's what Volkswagen is missing. And you'll see in the video that they are really focused on the German talent. And if you look at Tesla, they're focused on the world talent. And Elon has said this several times. He doesn't care if you have a university degree or you don't. All he cares about is that you have a unique talent and a passion for whatever Tesla's going to deliver. And I think if you put that in combination with where Tesla is going to go and the talent that is needed to go, I think it's an unstoppable train. So for Volkswagen to say that they're going to spend $30 billion and they're going to catch up to them, that's just, in my point of view, playing the catch-up game is the wrong way for them. What they should be is carving a unique niche, maybe trying to become the Android, the Samsung, and don't bother and try to catch up with Apple or Tesla, that whole ecosystem. There's no point because they have carved out this unique ecosystem, and the software to develop that kind of iteration and that kind of platform is years and years of iterative process, right? For example, a lot of us in software, we use agile methods and we're adding to the software as we go, right? The software starts at an MVP, and from that MVP, it develops into something what Tesla is right now. So a big iterative process. When you go from a VW saying we're going to basically take our traditional VW software, maybe they're going to wipe it clean and we're going to try to play the catch-up game. You're just trying to mimic that magic that actually happened on a larger span, and nothing in software can really be like, if you think about it, can be forced, right? So let's go into my friends' viewpoints.
All right, so regarding Volkswagen kind of taking this new shift on going after software portion of things, looking at it from a perspective as a developer, I think that they have a huge uphill battle for them. Like, one is being able to attract talent that's just external, and two, it's because they're trying to compare themselves to some of the big FANG companies, including Tesla, which again, in itself is a feat, right? And I don't think that they're positioned just yet to be that. Now, again, you have to start somewhere in the process, but I think it is again an uphill battle. One of the things that listening to like the details of the deal is that they're employing 4,000 engineers based in Germany alone. That doesn't really open it up to other external developers. And if you looked at, Google, Facebook, etc., some of them are coming from different countries coming to America to be able to kind of work on these big projects. And that kind of leads to innovation in itself. So one, they've kind of segregated themselves in terms of the market that they're going after in terms of saying, hey, only Germans can work on these projects, right? And then another aspect is that it's Volkswagen is a car company, right? So all the projects that you're going to be working towards are towards cars. So if you're an engineer and like a software developer and you love cars, then this is perfect for you, right? But if you look at Google, Facebook, the type of projects are a wide gamut of different things that you get to work on, right? So it's not just one specific type of product. Who knows in terms of Volkswagen, they said they made a shift in terms of being able to have more projects, but everything just seems to be towards manufacturing and manufacturing cars. And I love that they keep comparing themselves to Tesla in that respect, to try to kind of like try to compare themselves in terms of being able to build a factory the same as Tesla. But they really can't compare themselves as an apples to apples comparison, because Tesla doesn't just do cars, right? Like Tesla is not a car company. Tesla is an energy company, if you think about it, right? They do, there's solar panels, there's batteries, there's the car portion as well. But unless Volkswagen is really thinking of being able to kind of position themselves in the same way, it's very, very narrow in terms of as a developer working for that company. And it's going to take a long time for them to kind of catch up to that standard, that industry. I think that they can succeed? Definitely. If you throw enough money at something, it's going to happen. And if you keep at it for a while, then, something is going to happen. But I do think that some of the ways that they're doing it, it's not going to be, one, it's not really at open because it's only German developers from what I've heard. And then the second part is that it's so narrowed unless they're planning to do more than just cars in terms of changing their business model, which I don't think that they're planning to do. So as a developer, would I be applying to Volkswagen? Would I want to work for Volkswagen? Probably not. It's not necessarily an industry I would want to work for, right? Not because it doesn't seem cool. It's just, cars. It's just cars. Would I want to work at Tesla? Definitely, because it's energy. It's there's so many different facets to it, right? And then one of the last things is, and this is not necessarily from a programmer's point of view, but is more specifically as just a leadership point of view. Like, who can I say is at Volkswagen that is the epitome of leadership at Volkswagen, comparing it to Tesla? When I think of Tesla, it's like I would actually take less money as a developer just to have the chance to work with Elon Musk or to work with one of his companies. Could you say the same thing about Volkswagen? And I could argue, I'm arguing that I don't think you can, because there's no that head of lead or head of tech that it's really steering the company and inspiring other people to come and work at Volkswagen. So those are my thoughts.
So 100% they're going to catch up from a software perspective and probably a hardware perspective. So will all the other major auto manufacturers, either doing it in-house or licensing it from someone else. But what we saw in the smartphone space is probably what we're going to see here in Tesla is that, the iPhone was new and it was a game changer. Tesla was new, it was a game changer. Everyone else went to, create carbon copies. They got to parity in terms of software, but there was nothing they can do to kind of overcome that mind share that Apple had, right? So, and I think the same thing's going to be true of Tesla. Tesla owns that mind share. They have this amazing ecosystem behind the Teslas that all these traditional auto manufacturers will need to try and replicate and not just match, but overcome to kind of get that mind share back. And traditional automakers have a lot to deal with. They have a lot of legacy things holding them back. Their dealerships are franchised, and these franchisees have a lot of leverage over the auto manufacturers. For some of these automakers, they make more money financing the cars to these dealerships than they do selling the vehicles, right? So to go direct to consumer, like Tesla does for a lot of these auto manufacturers, is a unbelievably huge hurdle for them, right? So at the end of the day, this is just Elon kind of getting his way. He wanted, the world to kind of switch over from, fossil fuels to renewable energies. I think, that change is well on its way by 2030. Guys like Volvo are going to be all electric. So, you know, um, after this, what they're probably going to be focusing on is what does car ownership look like in the 2030s. Great that we're all using electricity to power our vehicles, but how are we, producing that energy? Is that clean? So renewable energy and battery storage is going to be kind of the next wave, and that's the stuff that Tesla's kind of looking at and working on right now, while these other auto manufacturers are just, trying to get to software parity and have their cars drive themselves. I think from Tesla's perspective, that's already a largely solved problem, and they're looking at the larger, bigger, more societal problems of battery storage and clean energy production. So yeah, that's it.
So hopefully those different viewpoints give you some perspective on the uphill battles that VW could potentially face against Tesla. Thanks for watching, and be sure to like, share, and subscribe to my channel.